Good to go.
We're going live in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Leepa Live Sports. Another crazy and wild show coming your way. I'm holding up here in Michigan. I'm up here on the top of the Michigan pavement here. Chris is holding down the Tampa Bay studios. Welcome to another crazy and wild football season and Leepa Live. Chris, how are you doing in the Tampa Bay area?
I'm doing all right. I'm still a little humbled by last Sunday night's game, but I'll survive. We always do. We always do. We're on to Miami.
Badge, you got to take that because it's going to come out here. Yeah.
So I'm ready for some football. I think we've got some good games this week. It ought to be an interesting week this week. There's some games where, I really have no idea what these teams are going to do. So it'll be interesting to see what happens all week long.
I hear you. It's going to be really interesting because it's been interesting every single week that we've had. One thing we haven't been let down on is we haven't been let down on some, exciting games. And just to let everybody know right now, I'm not in the studio and I'm not in the Times Square studio, the New York studio. I'm up here visiting my dad, so I'm actually just sitting off into the side room here, and I'm going live with a stream here. So just kind of like Chris did when he was up in Boston. So I'm getting a little taste of some first the cool snap, and I'll tell you what, I got the heat on, not like you guys got at Tampa, but I'm liking the little bit of a change, and that should be what a lot of these northern teams get for the first week of football. How's the weather there in Tampa, Chris?
It's balmy and hot, 80 degrees. It'll probably rain in a little bit. But you know what? It's a good day to watch some football tonight out on the West Coast. So I'm excited to see some of these games tonight, the game tonight. And then Sunday, I really want to get back in the saddle with my Patriots. That I was really disappointed in the Bucs losing. I thought they should have won that game. Fitzpatrick put him in a hole the first half, but his receivers really didn't help him out. Of those 4 interceptions he had in the first half, 2 were not his fault. You had the one that Evans stopped running on. You had the one that was tipped into the air. Those aren't really his fault. Yes, it's an interception on his book, but like I said, I don't think those were his fault. And then he had Godwin drop 2 balls on 2 different red zone plays on 2 different red zone opportunities. You just can't have that. They finished strong though. You got to give it to them. They didn't give up after that. They did get 2 field goals on those after those 2 drop passes by Godwin. But I've said it before, John, when we were watching the Patriots game. You can't win in this league by just kicking field goals. They should have had 14 points on that, and they ended up getting 6 on those 2 positions.
I agree with you 100% on that, no doubt about that. And I still feel, and I said this before, I'll say it again, I feel that that was the Bucs game to win there. I thought that they were the better team. You're right on the interceptions. I'm not giving those to Fitz, but what an amazing game that he had for that second half. That was the Fitz magic that we've been used to seeing, and that shows a veteran right there, by the way. To have the first half that he had, and then to come back like a vet, shake it off, and come out there and have the game he had was just it shows you why that we're fortunate in Tampa Bay to have a backup quarterback that could come in there and have a second half in the half that he had, and I feel they should have won that game. But we took one on the chin, but to me, doesn't have any question marks at all. Who is the starter of this team with Jameis Winston on suspension or not? I don't think there's a doubt of who the starter for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is and who it should be. Fitzmagic all day long.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. In watching that game on Monday night, we saw Fitzpatrick thread the needle on some of those passes where it was like, why did he throw that? How did he throw that? How was that a completion? On that, I think it was Godwin on that touchdown that he had 3 guys covering him and he just zipped it right in there between the 3 defenders for a touchdown. And the throw to Evans in the end zone where he just caught it falling backwards. Nobody's going to catch that but your wide receiver. If Jameis makes those throws, they're going to be intercepted. That's just the way Jameis is. If Jameis is making those throws, he's probably leading the league in interceptions by the end of the year. I'm really curious to see what happens with Fitzpatrick and Jameis. Like, say we go into this Bears game and the Bears are getting blown out by Fitzpatrick. Do you put Jameis in to get him some reps?
No, you don't. No, you don't put Jameis in. Because the second you put Jameis in the game to try to get him reps, you're going to create a situation because Jameis goes in there and by chance something happens. Now we've got a problem in the quarterback controversy. He doesn't need reps. Jameis wants to start in the NFL. Keep your nose clean, kid. Then you might get a chance to start in the NFL. How about you learn how to throw the deep ball? You want to do that? Then you know, if you can learn how to throw the deep ball, you might go ahead and get something in there. But no, you cannot put Jameis in regardless of how well Fitz is doing. The starter of the game is the starter. The only time you're going to a backup quarterback is if you have an injury. I'm knocking on wood right now, but we don't need a controversy. Jameis had plenty of chances last season when he came back from that little shoulder injury to see it and show us what he was all about. And he showed me all I need to know. So, no, you do not put Jameis in the game, period.
Hey, John, I'm getting a call in here to the Tampa Bay studio. Let's go to it. See what they want to talk. Hey, this is Chris. You're on the air.
Hey, Chris, this is Greg, Steeler fan since 1973. How you doing tonight?
Wow! You're on with me and John.
Awesome. How you doing, John?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm sure Detroit is jumping about that victory over the Pats.
Oh, I'm going to get it out from everybody.
Now, wait a second. You said that you were a Steelers fan since 73?
Correct. 73.
Wow! That's impressive right there.
I hate to give out my age, but
I won't tell anybody. That's because everybody already knows.
Nice. Excellent.
So Greg, I don't know if you've been listening, but we were just talking about what the locker room would be like if you put Jameis in, if it's a blowout to the Bears. And we're talking about locker room continuity and stuff like that. What's going on in the Steelers locker room with Bell and Antonio Brown and the Steelers and Mike Tomlin?
Oh, thanks for asking, Chris. I think that's where all the problem is. I think that Mike Tomlin has actually lost the team. I think they're tired of listening to his voice. They're tired of listening to his cadence. You can only listen to rah, rah, rah for so long. There's a few things that point to the fact that basic, simple coaching things that he's lost. They've lost the ability to play defense. They've lost any special teams. In fact, if Ben Roethlisberger didn't have 5 of the best athletes in the world on this team, I don't think we would score any points. We can't stop anybody. And, Joey Porter is in charge of the defense. Dick LeBeau left just in time. I think he saw this coming. I think it's just time for a new regime change. That's what I'm thinking.
I couldn't agree with you more on that. And I'll tell you, one of the things that I don't like is when sometimes it seems like these coaches are having a little bit of a problem whether or not they want to be one of the boys in the locker room or whether they want to coach the boys in the locker room. And it seems to me like Tomlin's there, like strutting his stuff on the sideline like he's one of the boys. But the problem is you're not going to get the respect of these jocks if you're one of the boys. You got to have a proven system. You got to make them work hard, and don't protect them like you're one of them. You can't do that. I don't think so.
Agreed. I think that the one of the boys mentality can only work when you're winning. If you're losing and you try to be one of the boys, you cannot actually discipline anybody. I mean, look at the turmoil going on, right? Le'Veon Bell obviously is ready to jump ship, right? So he's had enough of Tomlin. AB is sitting out for days. He might be ready to stop listening to Tomlin. It's just, I mean, I've been a fan 45 years. The special teams has always been an issue. God, if I got to watch us beat Baltimore by 3 points or tie Cleveland again, I mean, tying Cleveland made me almost sell my Mean Joe Green jersey.
It's funny you say that, Greg. I mean, you look at the two different coaching styles of Tomlin and the rah, and then me with Belichick, the disciplinarian, and it's my way or the highway. And, you get same results. I would say they're both winning teams over the last few years that everybody needs.
Well, I would say the thing about Bill Belichick is he just happens to be smarter than everybody. And I hate to admit that being a Steelers fan, but it's painfully obvious. We played y'all in the playoffs last year. He made an adjustment at halftime. Boom, we lose. Those are things I haven't seen Mike Tomlin do. I haven't. He's a great guy, youngest guy to have a Super Bowl, but I haven't seen him make in-game adjustments anywhere near like Belichick. And I hate the Patriots.
Right. Well, hey, that's you're not alone on that. I'll give you that. I wouldn't go so strong as saying as that I hate them, but it sure is a lot of fun to dislike them. Let me ask you something.
You hate us because you ain't us.
No, I do not. Now,
you hate us because you ain't us.
Let me ask you something, since you're a diehard Pittsburgh fan. What is the attitude with Bell? I mean, is Pittsburgh done with him? Or are they saying, okay, come on, let's just go ahead and deal this guy right now, and let's move on? Or are these Pittsburgh fans saying, hey, pay the guy, we want him?
Personally, I'm done with him. We offered him $14 million a year. I think he's, I've said in the recent years since, let's call it 2010, some guys are professionally injured. They see the what it does to their body, so they pull a hammy, they pull this. They have a great game on Sunday. Next thing you know, on Tuesday, they got a soft tissue problem. So I think they're all in it for longevity for themselves, but you got to give them props for that. But the fact that, Le'Veon didn't accept $14 million a year, and he could have been a franchise back. We could have talked to him like he was Franco Harris. We could have talked, like he was Jerome Bettis. He could have been the next one in the line, but I think he might be getting some bad information or maybe bad advice is all I can say. To turn down $14 million to hope you make 16 somewhere else, that doesn't seem smart to me. But so I don't think. Go ahead.
And like you said, he's turning down $14 million to make $16 million, but he just gave up $2.4 million and not playing.
Yeah, but it's it's that longer contract.
Yeah.
To me, that you're thinking about, if he's turning down and he's giving up $14 million this year, and he's giving that up because he wants a 5-year deal, for $100 million or whatever he's going to get, then that makes sense to me. If he's turning down the $14 million this year because he wants a 5-year deal with 60 guaranteed, then that makes sense to me.
Well, and let me ask you this.
Agreed, and I hope he gets it. Listen, there's no harder position in the league than running back. They interchange these guys all the time. So if that's what he wants, that'd be great. But he's negotiating with one of the best franchises of all time. He's negotiating with the Rooney family. He thinks he's going to outsmart them. I mean, it's like someone trying to outsmart Belichick or Kraft. I can't say the same thing about Detroit, but the Ford family has done well, but plenty of people have outsmarted them. But that's what I think about. I think he's getting bad advice, but at this time, I mean, James Conner is doing what he could do, maybe not as well. We have other problems besides Le'Veon Bell, but I think that's just an example of how Tomlin has lost this team to where your best player, he doesn't care. Yeah. I mean, come on. If your best player's in Miami riding jet skis looking fat, you're not doing your job.
I look at it. I think Bell is handling this all wrong because the Jets, the Steelers, they can either pay him some more money, they can just keep holding out like they're going to do, or they can trade him. I don't think he has trade value to a team, because why would Bell, if you say you trade Bell to the Patriots, and that's not going to happen because they don't have enough trade room, so all the conspiracy theorists just be quiet for now. But say you trade him to a team like the Patriots, why would he go play for the Patriots for the same amount of money? Because they can't really sign him to more money. They can make a
Nobody
deal in
decided
facto
this
to the
year
end of
to
the
more
season.
money.
So why would a team trade for him? Why would they give up a third-round pick if he could just keep holding out until week 11 and then fake an injury like we're saying?
I don't think he would. I think what he's trying to do, I think his agent and his people are taking a page out of the Emmitt Smith notebook from back in the 90s, where Emmitt Smith realized, he was the franchise player. He held out, I think it's 3 or 4 weeks, and he came back, and the team was rejuvenated. I think Le'Veon thinks the city of Pittsburgh is waiting on him to come back, when I think they're not. They've had enough. I mean, selfishness is something that presents itself very obviously.
Yeah, and it's hard to have empathy for somebody can make $14 million a year and is complaining about that.
No, come on, Chris. Come on, man. $14 million a year. I mean, nothing for nothing. He should get the most he can because his career and his timeline is limited. But
he's worth more than $14 million. He's worth more than $14 million.
I think if there was another coach, Le'Veon's tired of hearing Tomlin's voice. AB's tired of hearing Tomlin's voice. That's part of the deal being in sports. I played college basketball. After a while, you are tired of hearing the same coach say the same thing. And if you're a player, everything hinges on you anyway. So that's the crazy dichotomy, and I think Le'Veon's just had enough.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And I think Tomlin's been done there for a number of years. You look at what's happened with the Pittsburgh Steelers and, what everybody's actually had them to be in the beginning of the season and where they end up. It's nothing like what they thought was going to happen. What do you think as far as this game coming up for Pittsburgh, Baltimore at Pittsburgh?
I think it'll be like every other Baltimore-Pittsburgh game. Pittsburgh will win by 3. It'll probably be 7-4. Baltimore will get 2 safeties. I mean, these guys' games have gone the same way every year. You can bank on it. It's good. Put your money on the under and expect one of them to win by 3. Maybe 14-12, 14-11. That's the thing about these guys. I mean, they're rivals. And they've always played under the number. They're always 20-17. It's always a field goal at the end of the game. It's always.
I think the best over under on that game is going to be how many roughing the passer penalty flags there are. You're going to see Flacco and Roethlisberger on their backs a lot in this game, I think.
Well, since Roethlisberger, he already admits the fact that he's flopping a little bit. So, I mean, when you think about that, then come on, I mean,
well, that's the thing. Roethlisberger's so hard to take down as it is. You're going to have to get a penalty to try to take him down. But the way they're overcalling it and the way that they said the other day that the refs are just throwing the flag to throw the flag because that's what they're being told. I mean, pretty soon we're going to have – the quarterbacks are going to have flags on them hanging from each side, and you either can put 2 hands on their shoulder or grab their flag and they're down like a video game.
Right.
I mean,
well, I'll tell you this. Here's the thing. To me, I've got zero sympathy for plays like where I see Clay Matthews coming up. He's leaving his feet and he's going down with the quarterback all his way on the quarterback. If that's not simple enough to know that you can't do that, and when you do that, you're going to get a play. You can take your forearm and hit him right in the chest. You can do something like that. You can come over to him and knock him off his cleats with your hands. You can do something like that. If you're going to wrap him up and take him down to the ground with your body weight, you're going to get flagged for it. Those guys don't get that. Doesn't matter how hard it was or anything. It's a flag. You're going to get a penalty for it. If they don't get that, that's on them.
Dude,
find a different way to take the quarterback down. Go for the ball.
You know how hard that is to be an insane athlete at the peak of his game whose whole job is to break the line and sack the quarterback, that once they get there, they have to control themselves? I mean, that's the whole thing. That's the double standard in the NFL, is you've got to control yourself. Well, wait a minute. We love those hits. We're going to put that on our highlight reel. I mean, that's something
When you look at it from a franchise, you look at it from a franchise perspective. You look at it from a network perspective. And you look at it in the perspective of this. Okay, so you've got a Tom Brady that goes down. The backup quarterback comes in. Okay, I won't use Tom Brady as an example because of the fact that so many people are going to go. I don't know. Who is the backup? Chris probably knows who the backup is. He's probably got him on his FaceTime page or something.
Because the backup is in San Francisco with a torn ACL. Poor guy.
No, they brought. You know who they brought in last week? Landry.
Oh,
I don't know.
Come on.
They brought Landry, and he's not. It's Hoyer's the backup, but
here's my point. From a franchise perspective, selling tickets. From a network perspective, selling ads and advertisements. Nobody cares about a game when you don't got the starter in there if the second-string quarterback's a nobody and it's a lousy game to watch. You lose the audience. This is what it's all about.
John, I got to interrupt you there. What happened in 2001, Week 4?
Yeah, you happen
Bledsoe got
happened how many times, Chris?
Bledsoe got
2001, Week 4. What kind of memory are we talking about here?
Yeah, we're talking about.
We're going back to when Tom Brady took over the Patriots. The backup quarterback took over the Patriots and has won 5 Super Bowls.
Yeah, how many times has that
Who won last year's Super Bowl? Who won last year's Super Bowl? Nick Foles, the backup quarterback.
How many times has that happened?
I just named twice.
I know, 2 times.
The fact is, the Patriots have been in how many Super Bowls in the last 10 years?
Super Bowl. Flacco won a Super Bowl. You don't have to be a great quarterback to win a Super Bowl. You just have to be hot at the right time, and you have to have, as we all know, a top-ranked defense.
That's right.
The Steelers do not have, and that breaks my heart because it's the one thing we always used to have, but it's like I'm a basketball junkie, so I can look at a basketball team and say, hey, if they can't shoot free throws and they can't get into their offense, that coach sucks. So I look at the Steelers. If they can't do special teams, they can't get off the ball, and they can't stop anyone on defense, that sucks. And those are
that's the coach.
Agreed. That's the coach. The coach has lost that locker room. That's it.
I agree with you 100%. You're talking about the best athletes in the world. If you can't take a group of them together, get them on the same page, and go through a practice where you're going to practice what you do at game time, and you cannot have the productivity when you go out there, it's on the coach.
100%.
You know, John, you got me fired up about the Patriots there for a minute, but I'm going to kind of go back to what you're talking about with the NFL wanting they want them to be hits and they want them to be, but they also want to keep the double standard. They want to keep the quarterbacks healthy and all that.
Yep.
Mark Murphy, the president for Green Bay, told Clay Matthews to keep doing what you've been doing. Okay? So
what's he going to do? He's telling him to keep doing what he's doing so that they get flags on the field. They keep driving the offense down the field. They're giving them field position. Keep on doing it, Clay Matthews. You're going to do a great job losing this game for us, Sparky.
Well, it's funny, Joe. The reason I'm bringing this up in the quote from Murphy is he's part of the NFL competition committee. He's the one that made this stupid rule.
Unbelievable.
It's like
these guys are such hypocrites.
Exactly.
You guys are right. And they're turning it into 7-on-7 flag football, which, I mean,
we might get that, Greg. We're
not going to flag football.
Man, I hope
we are not going to flag football. I'm going to go back one more time to the standard of this. Give me a Monday Night Football game. Give me 2 second-string quarterbacks starting on a Monday Night Football game. You tell me how many people are sitting there watching a Monday Night Football game with 2-string quarterbacks. It ain't happening. Give me some nachos and jalapenos somewhere else.
There's too many other options for people to watch, listen, watch. I mean, there's too many other options. Back in the day,
I'll watch
football
hockey.
was all you had on these nights. I mean, football took over Sunday like church. But now they're alienating their fan base. That just shows you, unfortunately, the different. They're so rich. The owners and the people who run these teams are so rich, they don't even see the divide that they're creating in the regular fan and in the regular people.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
All good, though. And you know what I appreciate is that I can I can appreciate a true football fan, and that's what you are, and that's what this show's about. I appreciate that.
Hey,
Thank you.
Greg,
You
Greg
guys, I love
we're
the
gonna
show.
keep moving on here, and
Okay.
I'd like for you to call back Sunday to our show Sunday if you're available, because we definitely want to talk about that Steelers-Browns game, and definitely in the future call back in so we can talk Steelers, because it's great
All
to
right,
have
fellas.
the fans' point of view. That's what we're really trying to get here at Leepa Live, is getting fans to call in and talk about their favorite teams. So
Thanks for calling in, man.
No problem, guys. Love the format. I'll talk to you later.
Take care, Greg.
Awesome. See ya. Chris, that was a great call right there. That's what it's all about right there. That's what we're hoping to get more of when we get the fans. And it shows right there. You know, you can put a true sports fan up against any sportscaster, hold his own when they're a true sports fan. And that was a great call. I hope we get more like that.
Yeah. You know, him talking about Tomlin, it's time for him to go. That surprised me a little bit because I do think he's a good coach. I don't know who you get if you don't have him. But maybe, you know what? Maybe he's right, and maybe people are right about Belichick. You never know. The NFL is very unpredictable right now with teams that are winning, and you know we talk about defense winning championships. I don't think that's going to be the case this year. I think you're going to see these offenses win too many games, and we're going back to offensive football, especially with the way Mahomes and Fitzpatrick are playing.
Right. I couldn't agree with you more on that. So, hey, Chris, why don't we go ahead and start right off? Let's get into some of this week's games. You want to go ahead and get right into tonight's game?
Sure.
All right. Now, but we can do one or two things here. You let me know, but we can go ahead and talk about the game first, and then we'll do the much anticipated pick of Murph Man.
Oh, I forgot about the Murph Man picks tonight.
Oh, we got
Murph
the Murph Man. So, how about we
Did we have video of you picking before Murph Man?
Look.
He didn't do it again. Did you see the pause?
Keep on asking if I'm picking before Murph Man, and I think it's hilarious. You think I'm cheating because I'm picking with the dog pick.
I totally think you're picking with the dog. I totally do.
If I'm picking with the dog picks and I'm winning, then you
Keep
know
doing it.
You're probably going to
Hey, if he keeps winning, keep doing it. That's why I'm trying to call you out and get you to make your own damn picks.
I'm making my own picks. Murph and me are 4-0 maybe. After this week, we'll see. So maybe you better start paying attention with the dog picks.
I'm up one game on you in the 3 weeks.
No. Put that in reverse and hit the gas real quick.
I'm down 10 wings though.
We're talking about Thursday night picks. I'm 3-0. Murph Man's 3-0. What are you?
I'm 2-1.
Yeah, that means you're one behind. I thought you had to hit the gas.
No, I'm talking about totals through week 3. You're 24-22, and I'm 25-21.
What'd you do? Fall down the stairs over there and get amnesia? Something happened.
All right, let's talk this Vikings-Rams game. It's two teams two different stories here for the Vikings. They started out with a strong game against San Fran, and they tied Green Bay, and then they lose to the Bills. I'm still baffled that they lost to the Bills. No one saw that coming. We were talking about the Bills being the worst team in the NFL, and then they come and they didn't just beat the Vikings; they beat up on the Vikings. The Vikes are going to LA. They're not going to have Everson Griffin, who's got personal problems and didn't fly with the team. They gotta figure that out for him, and I'm glad they're worried more about his mental health and the playing of the football game. But teams that travel more than 2 time zones for a Thursday night football game in the last 10 games are 0-10. So that does not bode well for the Vikings.
Wow. That's a pretty good stat right there.
I figured I had to come up with some pretty good stats after the way the Patriots played on Sunday night.
That's a pretty good stat right there. I like it.
Can the Vikings do it with Kirk Cousins, Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, and Kyle Rudolph? They have a potential to be a dominant offense with a really good defense there, but we just haven't seen that offense explode like they should be able to.
Yeah, when you look at it and you really see what's going on with the Vikings, and you're talking about what they should be able to do versus what they're doing. Running the ball, okay, is a big deal. So the huge difference right there, when you look at Todd Gurley and you're looking at him, he's got 62 carries for 255 yards and 4 TDs, okay? Cook, I know he's coming off his knee injury and everything like that, but he's got 26 carries for 78 yards, 0 TDs. That's a big difference when you got that running game. But what makes it even more of a difference is when you've got two quarterbacks in the way that they do it. And these quarterbacks, they're pretty even on their production and what they're doing. 7 TDs from Cousins with almost 1,000 yards. You got almost 1,000 yards with 6 TDs from Goff. So they both got 2 interceptions. So the quarterbacks are almost even. It's that running game. That running game is a difference maker, and that's what I'm looking to see again tonight.
You look at this, you can see why the Vikings won't be able to run this. Aaron Donald, Ndamukong Suh, Michael Brockers, they lost to Leepa as a cornerback, and Peters I don't think is playing either. So that's going to hurt them. But you look at that defense, they're going to be tough to beat in any game, and I don't think Minnesota has it tonight. I'm going to take the Rams.
Right, but you've got the Rams. Even though they've got that strong front, they've got a couple of linebackers that are inactive, and a quarterback with Talib. So, I mean, so they're banged up as well. But you're right. I still think they got that dominant front line, and that dominant front line, it's just, I think, the best in the NFL. So. Yeah, defense on them is incredible.
I just got through saying that, I think we're seeing the NFL switch to a more offensive wins games than defensive. It's going to be hard to lose with Jared Goff, Todd Gurley, Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods, and Cooper Kupp. I mean, these guys are just like the KC offense. They are explosive. They are going to score a lot of points this year.
They are going to score a lot of points, and it should be fun.
Who do you got, John?
Who do I have in the game?
Yeah. Or do we find out on the Murph clip?
Now, I think that prior to me picking, do you think we should do the Murph Man pick?
Well, yeah. If we play the Murph Man pick, I know who you picked.
Oh, so you think – wait, okay, hang on. So you think I'm going to sit here and I'm going to wait to see what the Murph Man picks, and then I'm going to make my call. Is that what you're saying?
It don't matter. You know what Murph Man picked. We're the only ones that don't.
This is very true. Chris, it's kind of exciting when I'm sitting here and to see the show from the perspective I've been seeing it in, because you guys over there in the Tampa Bay studio, Leepa Live Studios, you guys actually have the new setup guy over there that's working the show, producing it. How's everything going in the studio for you guys tonight?
Yeah, we're going to have to watch the tape and see, I guess.
Woo-hoo!
I think Dave's doing a great job. I appreciate him being here, so I don't have to try and learn it.
Good job. I haven't seen any funny looks on your face, so I'm just going to call him right now. Dave, you got the banner for the Murph Man. Can we see the Murph Man banner up? And just want to see the Murph Man banner. I miss the guy when I'm out of town. And so when I don't get a chance to see my Murph Man, there's the Murph Man banners up. And you got to love this little guy. The pick of the week with Murph Man. This is exciting and always exciting. Murph Man is 3-0. He's hot. You got to admit it. He's hot. So without any further ado, Dave, why don't you go ahead and cue us up, play the Murph Man. I think we can show the helmets first.
Okay, there is your picks right there. It is the Rams.
These little helmets, there they are.
And the Vikings.
Putting them little helmets up, and we basically place these helmets underneath the cups. And then Murph Man, we shuffle them up. Dave, go ahead. There you go. You're going. It's the mix-up. Let's see here. I'm excited about this. Chris, are you excited about this pick?
I'm excited.
Make your pick.
I'm speechless.
Oh, yeah. What do you got there, Murph? What's your pick? Good boy.
Did he pick it up in his mouth? No, he's a good job.
You picked the Rams to win. Good boy.
He picked the Rams?
Yeah.
I can't get around when he picks the same team.
Murph's got the
That's right. Today. He's a smart dog.
All right, good pick, Murph. Good pick.
Oh,
thank you.
I love that dog. That's a good dog. I had fun at his birthday party last Sunday, too.
Boy, look at those special kisses I got from that dog. Boy, I tell you, the producer over there and the editor, Dave, he slowed that thing down a little bit. Getting a little freaky with those kisses with that dog. Murph Man picked the Rams. Really strong pick from Murph Man. He's looking to really separate himself here, Chris. So, I don't know. Are you going Rams or Vikings, Chris?
I already said I'm going Rams.
You're going Rams?
I'm going Rams.
Well, I know what you're thinking, but let me tell you this right now. I was going Rams before I seen anything to do with Murph. But just to let you know, there's no way at this point in the game I'm going to pick anything different than what Murph picks anyway. The guy's hot, and you got to stay with the hot dog. You know that.
I like hot dogs.
So, yeah. Murph Man all the way. We're looking for the Rams to improve to 4-0, myself to improve to 4-0, and Murph Man to improve to 4-0. If you have not yet liked Murph Man, we may have a banner of Murph Man where you can like him on Facebook, but if you have not done that yet, you can go to Facebook, find Murph Man, and like him because he doesn't just pick football games. It's an amazing dog. I shouldn't even be calling him a dog. He's a lot smarter than 80% of humans I know, and that wasn't an insult to anybody I know personally, just the ones I've seen. So while we're talking about where you can register or like Murph, also know all the other things that you can do. You can go to Leepa Live on Facebook, and you can like us there. You can go to Leepa Live on YouTube and watch us there. You can go to leapalive.com, which is where we recommend you watch the program for the highest quality and all the extras that you're going to find there. So leapalive.com. If you want to be part of the show, when you're on the leapalive.com, look for the register button. You can register and be part of the Leepa Live show. You can call in and all the things above. So there's that for you, Chris.
Are you sponsored by Old Spice or something?
Not yet. Soon, though. Soon.
Yeah, let's move on to the next game I have on the docket. I got the Jets and the Jags playing at Jacksonville. I've said it once. I'm going to say it again. I am not sold on Sam Darnold yet. For week 1, he was 16 of 21 for 198 yards, 2 TDs, 1 interception against Detroit. Week 2, he went 25 for 41 for 334 yards, a TD, and 2 interceptions. That's an okay game. Last week, he was 15 to 31 for 169 yards, no TDs, 2 interceptions. All right, they beat Detroit. They lost to Miami, and they tied Cleveland, right?
Right.
No, I had. Why do I have the? Yeah. So I'm just really not sold that he's going to be as good as everybody's saying he's going to be. But time will tell. It's still only 3 games into the season, and we're having a lot more rookies start this week than we did in the previous 3 weeks. So it'll be exciting to see him play. But I do like the running combo there of Kroll and Powell. I think that's a good tandem there. That'll keep them in games. They really don't have anybody in the passing game other than I forget the guy who's leading them for reception, but I don't expect them to beat the Jags in Jacksonville. With the Jags, we've seen their defense shut down the Giants, the Pats, and even Tennessee, but they can't. But they can only score on field goals against Tennessee. That's not going to cut it. 3 field goals might beat the Jets. Who knows? But the Jags just need to get their offense going. I've said it before. The way to stop the Jags is by stopping Fournette and let Bortles try and beat you. He's done it against the Pats. We've seen that he can do it. Tennessee they didn't have Leonard Fournette in that game, so that hurt them. So Jacksonville needs to get Fournette back and get a running game going with Hilton there. And Bortles can play the game. There's no doubt about it. He just needs to, he's beating the teams that he's not expected to beat, but he's losing to teams that they should beat, like Tennessee. I looked at their schedule a little bit, and what did we have? He had their schedule. Maybe I don't have their schedule. Take that back. I do not have their schedule with me. But
okay.
He needs to beat those teams that he's expected to beat, which he's not.
Right. So with that, we got the receiver that you were talking about from the Gents is Quincy Enunwa.
Yes.
Enunwa.
I just can't pronounce his name. That's why I pretend like I can't remember it.
Yeah, he's got 17 receptions for 212 yards and a TD. It's a pretty good start to the season for him. Darnold, on the other hand, with Darnold, here's the thing. Darnold's got 5 interceptions already. So when you start going like that, and they're always talking about the quarterbacks, and they do judge them a lot on TD versus interceptions. And when you got 3 TDs and 5 interceptions, be careful there, Mr. Darnold. He is a rookie. If I'm a defense, I play him like a rookie. I'm putting the blitz package on him. I'm coming after him. He's in big trouble against the Jaguars. I'm taking the Jaguars all day long. Bordeaux's got 5 TDs and 2 interceptions. He doesn't have the best completion percentage, but he's got 5 TDs, 2 interceptions. He's going to have a good year. He's got the defense to help him out there.
Yeah, I definitely think that's true. It's I have them going to the playoffs and making the playoffs. But like I said, I finally found their schedule and found my notes that were in disarray, of course. Their schedule coming up after this is at KC,
ouch,
at Dallas,
ouch,
Texans at home, and Eagles at home.
Okay.
So they've got
those next 4 games are tough.
Yeah, and I think I had them at like 10-6, maybe 11-5. That's they've got to win some of those games, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. You really, are they going to beat KC? Probably not. So you got to beat Dallas, the Texans, and then give a good fight against the Eagles, whether you win that or not.
Right, I'm with you. Let's move on to the next game, Chris.
All right, I got to move on to my Patriots against the Dolphins. The Patriots at home.
Love it.
I'll let you start off.
Okay, well, I'm going to start off. It's going to be kind of easy for me to start off. You want to know why it's going to be easy for me to start off? Because the Dolphins are 3-0, okay? The Patriots are 1-2. So I'll start just with that alone. Dolphins, 3-0. Patriots, 1-2. How do you like that for starting off?
That means absolutely nothing.
It doesn't mean anything. So
your record does not.
You're the guy that always tells me it's the win column. Now all of a sudden wins don't mean anything.
Okay, so let's. If the Dolphins played Houston,
yes,
would they win?
Okay.
Would they win? Who would win?
If the Dolphins play Houston,
yeah,
the Dolphins.
All right. If they play the Jags, who wins?
Tight game. Tough to call.
Okay, if they play Detroit, who wins?
Detroit.
All right. So you have them going 1-1-1.
Yeah.
Against who the Patriots went 1-2 against.
Yeah, and now the Dolphins are 3-0.
Against
all
who?
The confidence in the world.
But against who? They beat Tennessee, the Jets, and Oakland. They have not played anybody yet. They haven't played anybody yet. They're not that good.
Who did Tennessee play last week?
Jacksonville.
Who won?
How many touchdowns did they have?
Who won?
They did, but how many touchdowns did they have?
I'm just saying, Jacksonville beat up on New England.
Yeah, they destroyed them. But they only they won 9-6, 9-3. You can't. They're not a good team.
Okay. So we got the Dolphins.
They're the best. Let's put it this way: they're the worst 3-0 team out there.
I wonder how much you're going to get for those season tickets you got on this game.
I actually believe it or not, I had to sell one ticket for the game because someone couldn't go to the game this Sunday. So I had one extra ticket. I put it on Ticketmaster site. I sold the $170 ticket for $244. That's how much I could get for it.
Wow. Hey, let me give you a little something here real quick. I just want to let you know this right now. Okay? There's a real quick stat for you. Right now, you got Tannehill, okay? Miami Dolphins. He's 54 for 74 with 687 yards passing. Okay? Tom Brady is 64 for 100 with 644, 6 TDs, 2 interceptions. Ranked number 21. Ouch.
Yeah, I mean, Brady has not played well.
Back has 24 carries for 86 yards. Ouch. Okay? Miami's running back, 30 carries, 104 yards. They got Kevin Stills in the reception category with 9 receptions, 184 yards. Gronk has his 13 receptions with the same amount of yards, basically, because of the nickel and dime game we know about. I'm just going to tell you, don't take this Dolphins team lightly here. Don't take them lightly.
You know what? I learned my lesson last week. I took Detroit lightly. I did take Detroit lightly, and I lost. But I am not afraid. I'm not afraid of Miami at home. When was the last time Miami beat the Patriots at home?
I don't know. Do you?
No, I don't. I can go back to 2008 and know that they haven't beat them at home.
This is a different year. I've said it once. I'm going to say it to you again. This is a different year for New England. It is the year that the yarn roll comes unraveled and it's all over the place. That locker room's done. Belichick's done. Brady don't want to be there no more. Nobody wants to play in that team without Brady there anymore. New England's era of dominance is gone. It's done. It's over. They're going to be lucky to make the playoffs, even in the worst division you could be in.
They said that in 2017. They said that in 2016. And what happened? They made it to the Super Bowl those 2 years.
Yeah, but now you got John.
Oh, so it's going to be different this year, of course. Because hate us because you ain't us. Hate us because you ain't us.
John from Leepa Live Sports saying it. You heard it here first. Now I'm saying it from Leepa Live Sports. Put that in your stat bucket.
John, if you keep saying, in 5 years, when you keep saying Brady's done, and he's still playing, you're eventually going to be right when he's 55 years old and still playing football.
Brady's going to be coaching high school football in 3 years.
A blind squirrel catches a nut every once in a while, brother.
All right. Let's move along here. We already know what's up there. You know I was taking the Dolphins. I know you're taking New England. It's going to be a fun game. We're definitely going to watch that one together.
You know, the Patriots are playing a waiting game, too. They're waiting for Edelman to come back. And when they get Edelman back...
quit acting like this is a plan, man. There ain't no plan to start losing 2 games.
I actually read where somebody thought that Belichick let Patricia win because he wanted to make him look good, and he was losing his locker room.
Yeah, right.
These conspiracy theorists, man, they gotta go.
I know. And Belichick, there's no way that guy. The competitive nature of that guy, there's just no way.
I was gonna have breaking news earlier and just say that the Pittsburgh Steelers have traded Le'Veon Bell to the Patriots just to see what kind of reaction I could get out of you guys.
Yeah, right. Oh man, that would have got me on that. All right, let's move along here. Moving right along, Chris. Tell me what we got next.
What do we got next? We got I messed up all my papers. We had the Patriots and the Jets. Then we have Eagles and the Titans.
Eagles and the Titans. This is going to be a good one.
Carson Wentz is back, so it'll be interesting to watch, see what, he had an okay game last week. It wasn't a great game. And then Tennessee, they're coming off a big win against the Vikings, not against the Vikings. Yeah, who did Tennessee just beat? Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
So that'll be an interesting game to watch. I really think that the Eagles are the better team in that game, though.
Well, it's really hard for us to see what's up with Wentz. It's just hard to know what we're getting. We saw him with an incredible MVP season before he got hurt, but there's not enough for me right now with him to see exactly who you're getting in this game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good matchup. The Titans are, you kind of are talking like the Titans are nobody. The Titans are 2-1. You could start your season out in 2-1. You got to be kind of happy about that. So both teams are 2-1. I think it's a good matchup, and I think it's going to be a great game. You got a couple of the players banged up and everything like that. You still got Darren Sproles. They're saying he's questionable. I don't think you're going to see him. But with your running game that's hurting a little bit with a couple running backs banged up, and you got your wide receiver that's questionable in that game too for Philadelphia. You got Jordan Matthews banged up. So that's going to hurt you a little bit. Tennessee to me has got a bunch of players that pretty much know how to step up when it's time to step up. And that's why I believe that they're 2-1. And they beat a tough team last week. So I'm picking Tennessee to win this game.
Wow, I'm a little bit surprised by that. But you look at this NFC East here, where you have the Eagles, the Redskins, the Cowboys, and the Giants. The Cowboys and Giants are at 1-2, and the Redskins and the Eagles are at 2-1. There's so many divisions here that I just don't really know who's going to win them yet.
It's tough.
I think you still got to take the Eagles in this division. The Cowboys don't seem to be able to do anything. The Giants can't do anything. The Redskins are surprising me a little bit at 2-1, I think. But they're not a bad team. I think the Eagles are the team to beat there.
Yeah, they are the team to beat. I'm just not really satisfied with what I've seen yet. And when you have a team with the Eagles who basically going through preseason, coming into regular season with Nick Foles, seemingly offensive line that's not doing their job protecting their quarterback, I'm a little bit worried for Wentz. And I'm a little bit worried about the play call that you're going to have going on with him. I've seen him scramble a couple times. He looked pretty good on his feet, but you're coming off of a pretty serious knee injury, and you're also coming back to a team now who had Nick Foles as their starting quarterback, and now you're coming back to another guy, different touch, different feel, the way the ball comes out of his hand, the way he snaps the ball, his play, his call at the line of scrimmage, the way he leads you with the ball. It's just everything about that to me. I think there's a little bit of a shake-up, a little bit of an adjustment with these Eagles.
But I agree. But I think you're a better team with Wentz than you are with Foles.
Sure,
I think Wentz is that much better than Foles is.
Sure. I mean, we watched him last year, MVP stats. I mean, he was clearly 100% the best quarterback in football last year up to that point, at least according to the stats.
And I'm looking, and I don't see Ajayi on the injured list. So if he's playing, I think you're okay.
Yeah, I don't see that either. So Chris, who are you taking on that? The Eagles?
I'm taking the Eagles on that. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm taking a lot of away teams this weekend, and that scares me a little bit.
I see that. I hope it scares you a little bit. It should scare you a lot.
The next game we're going to talk about, which is Cincy and the who's Cincy playing? Cincy and the Falcons. Right. That's one of those games where you know what? I think the Bengals could win it, but because it's at home, I took Atlanta. I think Matt Ryan's playing, and I said it at the beginning of the year, Matt Ryan will have another great year like he had 2 years ago, his MVP season, coming off having the new offensive coordinator last year hurt him, but now he's back in the groove. He's throwing touchdowns. He's running for touchdowns. They haven't had Devontae Freeman play the last 2 games. Coleman stepped it up and had some good games. But Matt Ryan is playing some fabulous football right now.
I think that last week was huge for Matt Ryan.
And that was a loss.
Yeah, it was a huge game, though, because just like you said, he's diving, he's running, he's got that attitude which it gets everybody else involved and it makes a winning team. When you see your leader of your team, your quarterback, that has that competitive nature to them, do or die, give me the ball, I want the ball in my hand, I'm going to make something happen, that changes your team quite a bit. And especially if you get one on the chin like that and you lose, I think we're seeing now that championship pedigree out of those Atlanta Falcons that we expected to see week one. But we're definitely, I think they're real close to being back to that right now. So,
that to me was definitely the game of the week. I mean, you talk about those two quarterbacks firing up their team on the touchdown that tied them in the end of the fourth quarter, where Breeze rolled out to the left and had two defenders coming on him, spun to his left and went back in and got the touchdown. What was Breeze? 37, 38? That was an incredible play. And then to win the game, he goes over the top. What is it, Billy Sims over the bush for the touchdown in the end.
Billy Sims over the bush. So, Chris, check this out. Andy Dalton, he's 74 for 116 with 800 yards, 8 TDs. He does have 5 interceptions. That number coming up close like that, and you start getting those interceptions up there, those are turnovers that can have an outcome on games. You're worried. They're 2-1 though, so they're 2-1. The Falcons are 1-2. Matty Ice, 70 for 106, 897 yards. These guys are really close in their stats. He's got 7 TDs and 2 interceptions. So that's more the numbers you want to see, touchdowns versus interceptions, when you start separating them a little further like that. The running game for Cincinnati, they got Mixon with 179 yards on 38 carries and a TD. Okay. The Falcons running back Coleman, I would expect a lot more. 40 carries, 159 yards in the TD. Falcons got to get that running game going, Chris.
Yeah. Well, Mixon did that. Mixon did that in only 2 games because he was out last week and he'll be out this week. So I think that's where the Bengals will struggle. But then I watched the game they played Thursday night against Baltimore, and AJ Green comes out and has 3 touchdowns in the first half. So they didn't need Mixon. They just put it to Baltimore, who's not a slouch team, and they scored touchdowns. The Red Rifle.
The Red Rifle.
Johnny's brother from another mother.
Yeah, buddy. So that's a 1 o'clock game. That's another, Chris, this is another great game and hard to pick game. It might not have been as hard of a game to pick in the beginning of the season prior to seeing these guys play. But right now, this is a tough game to pick.
Well, we just started talking about the divisions, and look at the NFC North. Tampa Bay 2-1, New Orleans 2-1, Carolina 2-1, Atlanta's 1-2, but they lost to New Orleans, Carolina, and they lost to New Orleans and Philadelphia. Right. So, all things being considered, these teams are all going to battle it. It's going to be a black and blue division, and who knows who's going to win it. I mean, you can't predict this division on 3 weeks worth of play.
No, it's tough.
You know what? I don't think you're going to be able to predict it in week 14 who's going to win that division. It's going to be back and forth throughout the season in that.
Well, who are you taking?
In the game or in the division?
In the game. Bengals at the Falcons.
Atlanta.
Atlanta at home. I'm taking Atlanta, too. This is going to be the game when they come out. I think it's going to be a really close and exciting game. I'm going to want to watch it.
Let's see if have you been paying attention these past weeks? Have you been paying attention these past couple weeks?
Yes, I have.
Who do I say on Atlanta is going to be the difference maker?
On Atlanta, that's going to be the difference maker?
Yep.
You talking about Matty Ice?
Nope. Well, he's throwing it to somebody, though. Oh, Calvin Ridley, baby.
Yeah.
Calvin Ridley's, Julio Jones, they can't find him in the end zone, so they got to find Calvin Ridley in the end zone.
You got to use Julio. You got to use him as a decoy, and I think it's going to start working out for him. So we're talking about that. We got to shake and bake here because we got to move along here. Let's move along. I've got the Falcons. You got the Falcons on that, so move along. Chris?
What do you want to go over one more game, or you want to go over some picks?
You want to save those games for Sunday?
Yeah, let's save those games for Sunday.
All right, I wanted to talk Bucks, but we're going to save it for Sunday. I do want to let you know one thing before we go, because I love my Buccaneers. One thing I do want to let you know. Do you know who the best quarterback in football is this year so far? Stat-wise, yard-wise?
Yard-wise?
Yes, yards.
Yeah, everybody knows that. Fitzmagic, baby.
Yeah!
1,200 and something yards. 1,235?
Yeah. 11 TDs. Okay? 4 interceptions, but we know where those 4 interceptions came from. Doesn't bother me one bit, those 4 interceptions.
Well,
okay?
You know what? What's amazing? He's not even the MVP.
I know, but that 1,200 yards in 3 games is impressive. Wow. How about that?
They really should have won that game, John. They should be 3-0. That game hurt. After watching the Patriots lose and jumping on the Bucs Kool-Aid, I really thought they were going to win it there. I thought when they got it back, I also thought they made a mistake, and you didn't agree with me when they were on the 10, 15-yard line with 3 or 4 minutes left and down 3. I thought they should have gone for it and kind of put the throttle on. The way Fitzpatrick throws it, he can get you 10 yards on a 4th down and 10.
Right. Well, hindsight's 20/20. You never know how that would have worked out, but it did. It was a good game, and unfortunately, they got us on that one where we both think that the Buccaneers should have won that game. But we're 2-1, and I'm confident when we go into Chicago, what's going to happen. Chris, it's been another pleasure, and it's been a great show. I'm still up in I'm going to be in the Detroit area for our Sunday show, so I'm still going to be brisk in the little chilly areas while you are in the Tampa Bay studio. So I'll be talking to you soon from the Tampa Bay studio, Chris.
All right. And for Murph's sake and my sake, go Rams. I think the interesting thing this week will be some of those games. There's some real good games with Cincy, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Tennessee, Minnesota, and the Rams tonight. I'm hoping it'll be a great game back and forth. Patriots, Dolphins, I'm hoping to be a good game. I think your Detroit, Dallas will be a good game. But what I want to see this week is what happens with these roughing the passer calls because I think they're getting ridiculous.
Well, I think the players need to smarten up too a little bit. You know what I think, Chris. It's a little controversial, but smarten up a little bit, players. Don't take the quarterback down to the ground with your 280-pound body frame.
Yeah, I agree with you. Right now, they should be teaching defensive players kind of like the hack-a-shack, just hack away at the quarterback until the ball goes loose.
Go for the ball.
Go for the ball.
For the ball. That's it.
So we're in agreement on that, I think.
Yeah. All right, Chris, let's wrap this up. We're going to be back. If you've already watched the show, you know. If not, if you're watching a replay of this show, which you could do at leapalive.com. You can also watch a replay of the show at YouTube. Find Leepa Live on the YouTube channel. Make sure you like us on Leepa Live Facebook page. Always, the best place to watch it is at leapalive.com. That's where you're going to get a lot of extras that we got on that site. Even some of your favorite restaurants in your local area. So make sure you check out leapalive.com if you have not yet. And make sure you subscribe so you can be part of the show. Chris, from Baldwin, Michigan, I'm checking out. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you on Sunday.
Have a good night, man. Enjoy the games.
You too, Dave. Send us out.
Go Patriots!